Hello there everyone, today's video is all about EMI share options. Now I've done many videos on these over the years, a tax efficient way to incentivize key individuals in your business to stick around and help you grow the business. And then the reward for that is that they get a bit of equity at the back end when you sell the business. They get a percentage of it, or it doesn't have to be when you sell it. It could be after several years as a reward for their commitment. They get some shares. But this video particularly is linked to last week's budget, and again it's just a deeper dive into some of the announcements that were made in budget 2023, and this particular one surrounding EMI options. Now basically HMRC has over the years tried to encourage more and more businesses to go for EMI. The rationale, the thought process is that it's a good thing, unlike other sort of tax breaks where they've slowly eroded the benefits of them over time. This one has gone the other way, and it's become more and more easier for companies to do it. And one of the things that they announced in the budget last week was all to do with the administration and the administrative burden of running an EMI scheme, and some announcements, and this is what I want to talk to you about today. So the first one is from next week, 6th of April, basically at the moment when you have one of these EMI option schemes, in the actual option agreement itself there is a requirement to set out restrictions over the shares which the option is granted, so that those restrictions have to be in the actual option agreement. That requirement will go from next week. You'll no longer have to set out the restrictions in the actual option agreement itself. So that's the first thing. The second thing is the requirement to do with the declaration of the working time directive. So what this means is part of the conditions for EMI to apply these options, and there, as you can imagine with any sort of tax break, there's a whole raft of conditions, but one of the conditions was that the employee had to sign a piece of paper that said that they comply with the working time rules, which is basically that they spend so much percentage of their time a week working for this company for the relief to apply, and they had to sign off on that with that regard. Now what was announced last week in the budget coming in next week on 6th of April was that the requirement for the employee to sign off to attest to the fact that they're working the requisite hours no longer applies. However, the actual requirement itself that the employee work the set number of hours, that hasn't disappeared, but what they no longer have to actually sign off that they've done it, if you see what I mean. So they still have to do the hours, but there's no physical signing off to say that they have done so. So it's just admin, it's just less admin burden basically. And then what was announced last week, which is again is quite typical in budgets, they announce things to come in straight away and then they announce things to come in the future. And one of the things that they announced will come in the future, specifically a year down the road, is deadline for notification. So right now, if you set up an EMI option scheme for your staff, whenever you grant those options to individual staff members, you have to let HMRC know within 92 days. So you got 3 months. You got 3 months after granting options to the employees to tell the taxman about it. What they announced in the budget that from April 2024, that 92-day notification period disappears, and it's extended way out to the 6th of July following the end of the tax year. So as an example, let's say we get to when that rule comes in, 6th of April 2024, and on that day a company making widgets decides to grant some EMI options to a member of staff. Normally, if they hadn't changed the rule, they will have until April, May, June, they'll have until early July 24 to notify HMRC, but under the new rule they've got till July the 6th 2025 to notify HMRC. So it's the following 6th of July following the end of the tax year. So if you're doing it right at the start of the tax year, you've basically got an extra 12 months to notify HMRC. So these are just admin-y type things. So no change to the actual tax reliefs or rates or anything else. It's just purely an admin thing which is good. That they've basically said, look, we want to make this as least admin burdensome as possible. So we're going to bring in a few of these things to make your life easier if you're an employer running or keeping on top of this EMI scheme for your staff. So just an overview there on the EMI share option announcements in budget 2023. If you like this video, please do subscribe, and as always, I'll see you soon.